Hello, I'm Mrs. Martin and I'm doing today's lesson. Now, last lesson I know that you did some fantastic counting in twos with Mrs. Evans. Did you have fun collecting all the things around your house and putting them into groups of two? I hope you had a great time. Okay, so we're going to have a little practice at counting in twos like you did last lesson with Mrs. Evans, and we're going to use our counters that you had last lesson too. So if you haven't got those with you, just press pause on the video and go and find them for me, please. Super, so I'm hoping you've got your counters now. Can you make sure that they're set out just like mine are on the screen? Lovely, so we're going to have a little go now at counting in twos, because if you have a little look inside the dots, they're all in groups of two there. Okay, so let's see how many groups of two we've got. One group of two, two groups of two, three groups of two, four groups of two, five groups of two, six groups of two, seven groups of two. So how many groups of two did we just count? Excellent, that's right, there were seven groups of two. Okay, this time we're going to count how many dots there are all together. So we're going to count in our twos because there are two dots in every circle. Okay, are you ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So how many dots are there all together? Excellent, there's 14 dots all together. And how many groups of two were there? Can you remember how many groups of two there were? Super, there were 7 groups of two. So 7 groups of two equals 14. Fantastic counting. Okay, great. So now we're going to count on a counting stick, and we're going to count with my little sheep. Now you have to keep an eye on my little sheep because he is a little bit cheeky. He likes to count up quickly and count back quickly sometimes, and sometimes he moves really slowly, and sometimes he likes to go forwards and backwards as quickly as he can. He likes to try and see if he can trick you, but I know he's not going to be able to. Okay, let me get my counting stick. There we are. So we're going to be counting in our multiples of 2 from 0 all the way up to 10. Okay, keep your eye on my little sheep. Off we go. 0, excellent. 2, fantastic. 4, brilliant. 6, well done. 8, fantastic. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. Oh, what a brilliant job you did counting. I think you found it so easy. I'm actually going to take some of these numbers off. Okay, I've taken 2 of those numbers off. Can you see there? Right, let's have a little go again. Keep your eye on Sean because he wasn't as sneaky as he normally is then. Let me get my stick so you can see. Okay. Whee, trying to get it straight for you. Off we go. 0, fantastic. 2. 0, lovely. 2, 4, 6, 4, 6, 8, 10, 8, 6, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. Amazing counting there. And I don't think that my little sheep managed to trick you, did he? Fantastic job, well done. Now, I've got one more friend that I'd like you to meet in this lesson, and this is Floss. And Floss loves to count, but sometimes she does find it a little bit hard and she makes a mistake. Okay, so I need you to listen really, really carefully and see if you can listen for any mistakes that Floss makes and tell her. Okay, can you help me do that? So Floss is going to practice counting in twos, Floss, okay? And we're going to start on 0. Right. Are you ready, Floss? Okay. 0, 2, 4, 5, 6. Did you hear Floss make a mistake? That's right. What did Floss say? 5. She said 5, didn't she? 5 isn't a multiple of 2, Floss. You don't have another go? Okay. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. Oh, did you hear something? That's right, Floss said 13, didn't she? 13 isn't a multiple of 2, Floss. Okay, do you want one more time? Yeah. Right, let's see if Floss can do it. Are you counting along with her, trying to help her? Brilliant. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Amazing counting, Floss. Can you give Floss a high five? Super. Thanks for helping her. She was struggling then. Amazing. Thank you. Okay, so today's lesson we are going to be counting in tens. So you practiced counting in twos in the last lesson with Mrs. Evans, and in today's lesson we're going to be looking at counting in tens. And all you're going to need for this lesson is your hands. Now remember that because I'm going to be asking you about that in a little bit. Okay? So we're going to practice counting in our tens, and we're going to use a number line to help us. Now you might have practiced your counting in tens with your teacher at school. Okay, so let's have a little look at this. So we're going to start from 0, and we're going to count in our multiples of 10. I'm going to count forwards first of all. Okay, are you ready? 0, 10, 20, 30. Lovely pronunciation. I could hear you all saying 30, not 13. Excellent. 40. Lovely. I could hear you say 40, not 14. 50. 60. 70. 80. 90. 100. Brilliant counting forwards in your multiples of 10. Okay, this time we're going to have a go at counting backwards in our multiples of 10. Okay, are you ready? So we're going to start on 100. Off we go. 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 0. Brilliant counting in your multiples of 10 then. Excellent. So last lesson you were counting in twos and you used bicycles and shoes and socks. But today we're counting in tens. Can you have a think of anything that might come in a group of 10? Have a little think about what I said you might need for today's lesson. Excellent. Your fingers. Now, I know you've got your fingers and your thumbs, but for today, we're going to include our thumbs with our fingers. Okay, so all together, they make a group of 10. Excellent. Show me your two hands. Fabulous. Okay, check you've got a group of 10. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to start by counting in groups of 10, and we're going to try and work out how many groups of 10 there are on the screen. So I can see the groups of 10 are here, and those two hands there. Can we see those that groups of 10, those 10 fingers. Remember that today we're including our thumbs in with our fingers, so that's 10 fingers there. 10 fingers there. Do you want to just check that you're happy there's 10 fingers? Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to have a little go at counting how many groups of 10 there are. So, one group of 10. Two groups of 10. Three groups of 10. Four groups of 10. Five groups of 10. Six groups of 10. Seven groups of 10. So how many groups of 10 are there on the screen? Excellent, 7 groups of 10. Fantastic. This time, instead of saying one group of 10, 2 groups of 10, we can say it in a slightly quicker way, and we can say 1 10, 2 10s, 3 10s, 4 10s. Okay, so let's have a little go and see how many groups of 10 there are on the screen. Okay, are you ready? 1 10, 2 10s, 3 10s, 4 10s, 5 10s, 6 10s, 7 10s. Lovely, there were 7 10s on the screen, 7 groups of 10. Brilliant. So if we know that there are 7 10s on the screen, let's try and work out how many fingers that is altogether then. And remember, we're including our thumbs today as part of our fingers. That's one group of 10 there. Okay, let's have a little look. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Excellent. And how many groups of 10 were there? That's right, there were 7 groups of 10. So 7 groups of 10 equals 70. There are 70 fingers altogether. Well done. Okay, so this time it's your turn. I would like you to look at the groups of 10 on the screen, and I would like you to tell me how many groups of 10 there are, and then I'd like you to count how many fingers that means there are on the screen. Off you go. Super, let's have a little check now. How many groups of 10 did you see? One group of 10 or 1 10, 2 10s, 3 10s, 4 10s, 5 10s, 6 10s. There are 6 10s. How many fingers then are there altogether? Let's have a go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Fantastic. So there were 6 groups of 10, which meant that there were 60 fingers altogether. Lovely counting. Okay, so now I'd like you to press pause on the video in a second, and I'd like you to find an adult or a friend, might be a brother or a sister, and I'd like you to ask them to flash their fingers up to you just like this. Okay, and you have got to tell them how many groups of 10 you saw and how many fingers that is. Now remind them that we're including our thumbs in this as our fingers just for today. So our fingers and our thumbs equals one group of 10. Okay, so you'll ask your adult like this to flash some fingers. So they might go, how many groups of 10 did you see then? Well done, there were 3 groups of 10. I flashed my hands 3 times. And so then how many fingers would that have been if there were 3 groups of 10? 10, 20, 30. Excellent, there would have been 30 fingers. Okay, press pause on the video now and have a little go at that game with an adult or a friend in your house. So now we're going to practice looking at dots, and we're going to practice counting how many dots there are. So let's begin by looking at the groups of 10. Now I know that there are 10 dots in each circle, without having to count them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I know that because of how they're arranged. Have you seen them like this before? Probably at school. That's right, they're in a tens frame, aren't they? They're set out like a tens frame. So I know that there are 10 dots there altogether without having to count them individually. Well done. Okay, let's have a little look and we're going to count how many groups of 10 there are. Now we're going to use our quick way of counting. So we're going to go 1 10, 2 10s, 3 10s. Let's have a go. 1 10, 2 10s, 3 10s, 4 10s, 5 10s, 6 10s, 7 10s. Brilliant. So there are 7 10s on the screen. There are 7 groups of 10 there. Well done. Now this time I want to work out how many dots there are. So this time we're going to count in our multiples of 10 to see how many dots there are altogether. Okay, are you ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Brilliant counting. Now, how many groups of 10 were there before? That's right, there were 7 groups of 10. So altogether there were 7 groups of 10. And how many dots then are in that 7 groups of 10? 70, brilliant. Because 7 groups of 10 equals 70. Fantastic. Now this time I'd like you to have a go at counting how many groups of 10 there are on the screen. So just press pause on the video and have a little go, and I want you to count how many groups of 10 you can see. Off you go. Super. How many groups of 10 did you see on the screen? That's right, there are 6 groups of 10. Let's have a little check. 1 group of 10, 2 groups of 10, 3 groups of 10, 4 groups of 10, 5 groups of 10, 6 groups of 10. Excellent. How many dots then are there all together? Have a little pause of the video and count in your multiples of 10 so that you can tell me how many dots there are all together. Off you go. Okay, how many dots do you think there are? Super, 60. Let's have a little check. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Excellent. So there were 6 groups of 10, which meant that there are 60 dots. Brilliant counting, well done. On the screen this time there are some pencils, and can you see they are set out in groups of 10? It says there on there 10. So there's 10 pencils in each packet, so they're in those little groups of 10 again for me. Now I would like you to press pause on the video in a second because I'd like you to work out how many pencils there are. Can you have a little look? Off you go. Okay, let's check. How many pencils did you think there are? Super, 90. Let's check together. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Excellent. There were 90 pencils. If there are 90 pencils, how many groups of 10 were there? Brilliant. There were 9 groups of 10, weren't there? Should we just check? 1 group of 10, 1 10, 2 10s, 3 10s. Oh, there's my 3 10s again. 4 10s, 5 10s, 6 10s, 7 10s, 8 10s, 9 10s. Brilliant. So there were 9 10s. 9 10s equals 90. One last try for you. Have a little look at the screen. Can you see the pencils this time? I've changed the number. How many pencils are there on the screen this time? Press pause on the video and count. Did you count in your multiples of 10 to work it out? How many pencils are there? 70. Fantastic. Let's check. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Brilliant, there are 70 pencils. So if there are 70 pencils, how many groups of 10 were there? 7 groups of 10. Excellent. Should we just check? 1 10, 2 10s, 3 10s, 4 10s, 5 10s, 6 10s, 7 10s. Brilliant. So there are 7 10s, which means there were 70 pencils. Fantastic counting. You're so good at this. You have been super mathematicians today. You've done some amazing counting in your multiples of 10 and 2. Really well done. Absolutely amazing job. Now I have a little home learning task for you. So today I would like you to have a little go at practicing counting in your tens. So how many groups of 10 can you find in your house? You could count all the fingers in your house. Remember, we're going to include our thumbs in that. You can count all the toes that are in your house and have a look for any other objects that you might see that come in a group of 10. Okay, have a little practice of that for me before the next lesson. So for next lesson, there are a couple of things that I need you to bring with you. Now, the first thing I need you to do is I'd like you to make some counters with groups of 10 drawn on them, just like that tens frame that we talked about earlier in the lesson. So can you make 10 counters with 10 dots on each one for me, please? You might use the back of an old cereal box, you might use some paper, some card, anything at all that you've got lying around that you can make those little counters with, and they've got to have the 10 dots on them for me, just set out like that tens frame there. Okay, the other thing that I would like you to bring with you are some like little objects that you can practice counting your multiples of 10 with. Now it might be some Lego bricks, it might be some other small objects that you've got around the house, any of the little toys, but you just need a little collection of things that you'll be able to count with in the next lesson. Okay, fantastic work everybody, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Bye.